everybody, and welcome to Week in Review, a video series that we do every week, in which we talk about all the different videos we did over the past week, giving you short, concise, quick, fast, and, truncated summaries of all the reviews we do, and other videos. If you want to see more about them, check the link in the description below. It will take you to the different games. Okay, so here we go.
Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia, and here's what I reviewed last week. So I reviewed Mythwind, which I gave a 5 out of 10 to. It's right down the middle of the road for me. It is a game in which you are living in this cozy world, doing a little farming a la Stardew Valley. And while I really like those kinds of activities in a video game, I found it to be very repetitive in this game, and I found it to, that feeling of the game doesn't really end. You can just kind of keep going forever, to feel kind of pointless. And the evolution of town, the evolution of your character, the things you can unlock, was very slow and plodding. I found it to leave me wanting in progression and in variety. I reviewed Celtae, which I gave a 6 out of 10 to. This one has some interesting mechanisms in which you're moving around this Rondel, changing your workers, keeping some workers as part of your tribe, doing various things. But I found the scoring to be a little flat. You are manipulating the things that can score, but unfortunately, because these things are open information, it's very easy for you to influence something you're doing well in, and then everybody else looks at that and goes, okay, I'll do that too. And so everybody sort of ends up feeling like they're doing the same things. It becomes homogenous in a bad way, and while I like various aspects of what it's doing, the scores are very low and very samey, and I found the game sort of lost me, especially at the end of the sessions. And then lastly, I reviewed Earthborn Rangers, which I gave an 8 out of 10 to. It's a very complex card game. Sort of feels like a living card game from Fantasy Flight, and it's made by some ex-Fantasy Flight people, actually. It has a very interesting world in which you sort of just habitate. You play a campaign, you build a deck of cards, you are a character, and you just sort of go through this valley for a number of sessions, encountering people and animals and going on little missions, helping folks. Oh, you need to go here. You want to discuss that? Let's talk. It's got a lot of rules, but the way the game feels is very interesting to me. Certainly not one that's going to be for everybody. I think if you need a little more structure than this, maybe you want to stick with Arkham Horror or one of those games. But it kind of feels like the Lord of the Rings living card game with less structure, more rules, I think, but a really neat setting. And if you like the setting and get into living in this world, I think you're going to have a good time with it. I certainly do. So there you go. That's it for me, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.
Week in review time. This week I took a look at one game, and that is Dune War for Arrakis. I gave this game a 10 out of 10. I love War of the Ring, and this game shares a lot of the dice action DNA and a little bit of card play style stuff from War of the Ring. And I love the Dune IP, and I really feel like CMON did an amazing job making the sculpts and the production of this game amazing, but also making it fit true to the Dune theme. So if you want to check out my review for a 10 out of 10 game for me, my style of game, check that out. And that is what I looked at this week.
Hi, I'm Wendy Yi, and I have one review coming at you this week, and that is Maple Valley. So this is listed as an 8+ game, and I definitely don't think it's for 8+. We tried playing it with our daughter. She could play, but there's a lot of stuff for her to think about, and she definitely got bored between turns, and I think it was a little bit long for her. On that note, I did give this a 7. I think that it's very cute, and for me, taking it as a game for myself, not for children, I did enjoy it. I felt like it had enough in it to feel robust, even though I enjoyed the very cute aspects of it. And I felt like it didn't go too long, but if it was, I guess if it was one round shorter, I would have been very content as well and maybe liked it a little bit more. So I was okay with the length, but could have been better. Anywho, go ahead and check out our review, and let's go and see who's next.
Hey yo, I'm Camila, and I took a look at 3 games this week. First up was Celtae, which I came in at a 6.5 on. This one just didn't really click with me. I love the action selection of the Rondel, where as you go and you pick your spot, if you only go 1 space, you get a boon, but if you can go up to 3 spaces, but then you have to pay. I liked that decision, as well as the space you go to has 2 different actions available to it, so it really gave some flexibility to the action selection in the Rondel, and I really liked that. But I just found the scoring fell flat. I found a lot of the gameplay fell flat. I think I prefer to be engine building, where I feel like I'm getting stronger, rather than just I get this to spend it and get rid of. It was just too much of a balancing act. I felt the whole thing just kind of felt like work. So Celtae was a 6.5. I didn't mind it, but I can't quite recommend it. Next up, I took a look at Mythwind, which I came in at a 7 for. This game is best described as multiplayer solitaire co-op, which is an odd kind of mesh, right? You think co-op and you're talking together, you're working together for a common goal. That's not really here. It really does feel like 2 people playing a game side by side who sometimes share something cool that they do. So not a whole lot of player interaction on this. It seemed like a lot of rules overhead for very simple gameplay. So that first session is going to be kind of just grindy, where everybody has their nose in this individual rule book, trying to figure out what they do specifically, because there's very few things that are the same between the characters. I usually like that, but I think it did hold this game back a little bit. That being said, I found this game to be very comfortable gameplay once you got it. It's one that there's not really high highs and low lows. It's just comfortable, right in the middle. Something it's a campaign that I can put down and in a month pick it back up and not have to relearn, because it's very comfortable once you get it. But it's also not one that I'm itching to get into the next play. It's just a comfortable weeknight kind of play session. It also plays very fast, which I liked. Only 30 minutes per session. It was fantastic. So Mythwind for me was a 7. Just very comfortable, and would recommend it if that's what you're looking for. And last up, I took a look at Earthborn Rangers. Ooh, I did like this one. This one I came in at an 8 for. I didn't quite go into the seal of excellence on it because I felt the game was a little bit long. And again, talking about getting into it, it was a lot of overhead. It was complex in how the game flowed, in what you can do and you can't do, and a lot of exceptions to the rules, it felt like. So that complexity was more fiddly nature. But once you get that down, the world is absolutely engaging. It really does feel like you're a visitor in this world, and you're reacting to the world and things you come across. I love that it feels like, it's a campaign game of 30 sessions, but it felt like a season of an episode of a TV show, and each day is one episode, and it felt really episodic, with not a whole lot of overarch. Kind of something like Black Mirror or something like that, where it's just each one stands a little apart, but maybe not as different as that one. But yeah, I really enjoyed the gameplay. If you like things like Arkham Horror, if you like things like the Lord of the Rings, those living card game feels, you definitely see the roots in this one, just with a really neat world that it's created just for this game. So that was Earthborn Rangers. I came in at an 8. That's it for me this week, so let's keep going.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Chris time number 5. All right, this week I took a look at several games, the first of which, Maple Valley, I gave a 6. This game is cute, it's so adorable, but it's a little bit too long. Not just for kids, but also for me as the grown-up player. I wasn't enthralled all the way through the end. 1 round too many for sure, so it's a 6. It's still good though. Taiwan Night Market, a 6.5. Almost there, almost what I want from this neat auction game that has these elements almost of Food Chain Magnate, where you're trying to cut off customers to go to your stand before they go to other players. I like it though, it's really clever. This is part of the 3 auction reviews I did. The next one, Medici, a 6.5. This is particularly for the edition from Steam Forged Games. They really botched the colors on the production. There's 2 tracks that are red right next to a green track, and the player colors. There's issues with the production of this one. I think the gameplay's fantastic, very fun game that holds up, but with the production, a 6.5. Money. This is the 3rd auction game I reviewed. This is a reprint from Reiner Knizia. The Play T version of this game looks great, plays smooth, fun little game about monetary exchange, trying to have a lot within the same type as a suits. Having too little to others will hurt you, a 7. I really like it. French Quarter. roll and write game. I gave a 7.5. This is roll and write mixed with a little bit of flip and write. You're moving up different tracks, moving around New Orleans, and I like what this one has to offer. I wish it was a little bit more exciting, but it's a solid game, 7.5. Shipwrights of the North Sea, also getting a 7.5. This is affected a lot by my opinion of the solo game. I think that solo and two-player are the best player counts for this one. This redo of the original Shipwrights of the North Sea, a lot better. Not the best Garfield games fare, but solid, and I see myself coming back to playing this one solo a bit more. And lastly, Revive Call of the Abyss expansion, an 8.5. This is excellent. It adds a few little things in there, more of the same stuff, but also a new track and some objectives to go to that really sweeten the pot of a game that I think is already very good. So a great expansion, 8.5. And folks, that has been Chris Time.
Hey everybody, I'm Joey Evans, and here's what I reviewed this week. First off, it was Pericle, Gathering Darkness. It is a kind of a D&D style game. It's a bit of an adventure game, but it has more of a D&D feel. So this is a great one, I think, if you don't have somebody that can be committed to be a GM or DM, because this game kind of runs it for you. And it gives you a bit of the D&D feel. I still prefer actual D&D over this, but if you don't have somebody that can do that DM or GM, look into this one. It's pretty good. It's 7.5 from me. Also, I took a look at another one, Dragonlance, actually. It's called Warriors of Krynn. This is not a typical D&D game. This is more of a tactical game with battles and flanking and all this stuff. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it fell short. I think it got kind of monotonous after a while. But if you're interested in this IP, I think you should take a look at it. I did end up giving it a 6, so check out that review. But those are 2 games I reviewed this week.
All right, for me, I took a look at French Quarter. This is a roll and write style game. I gave this one a 7. I enjoy it. It's not as good as the other ones in the series, like Motor Racing and Three Sisters, but it's still pretty good and has a nice theme of New Orleans. We did our crowd surfing show this week. We did our top 10 dungeon crawls. We did a couple live plays this week. You might want to check them out. We did Inferno, a Euro style game about, well, throwing people into the different levels of hell. And then Dante Inferno, which is a completely different, more, game. You can go watch both of those. Pericle, or Pericle, I'm not sure how that's pronounced. This one is a dungeon crawl without a DM. I liked it okay. It very much feels very old school, which might appeal to some people, but for me, it doesn't feel as modern as a lot of other dungeon crawlers, so I give this one a 6 out of 10. I did 40 reviews in 10 minutes. You can check all those out. Mythwind, a game that, man, I really wanted to like this more than I did. So many cool ideas in this game, but you're basically doing the same thing over and 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 over again, and it's supposed to last for 20, 30 hours. That just didn't appeal to me as much. But A for effort, really, really good game in many ways, but I still gave it a 6 out of 10. I did 7 high-speed game reviews, all different ones, most of them bad actually, but one good in that mix. And then I took a look at Shipwrights of the North Sea, and unfortunately I gave this one a 5. I wanted to like it so much more than I did, but the drafting, the cards, there's just some cards that I think are clearly better than others, and that part made the game not as fun for me. But those are all the reviews we did this past week, and there are more to come this week, so stay tuned. I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching Week in Review.